I'm trying to master hardcore World of Warcraft and so far I'm really struggling. It is a lot harder than I initially thought it would be. I've died at level 11 in Skull Rock with some friends, and my last video ended with a duel to the death between two hunters that I leveled to 25, with my Tauren hunter coming out the victor. But this hasn't been easy. In fact, it just gets worse and worse. Let me tell you why. My journey begins once again at level 25 with a warlock that I met in Wailing Caverns last video who gave me a single gold coin out of the kindness of his heart.
Nice.
He invited me to do a Blackfathom Deep runs practically as soon as I logged in. Now it was 9 AM, so tanks were probably going to be pretty hard to find, so I decided to head into the luscious green foothills of Hillsbrad, and it's not a bad way to start off a morning, with a constant reminder on top of the screen that I've killed off one of my own characters in a duel, so if this Tauren hunter falls, I'd have to start all over from level 1. I'm already kicking myself, but surely I won't die, right? I got a very strong lion pet in the rake, I'm an engineer with target dummies, I've got plenty of health potions, and I'm a hunter as well, so all should be good. My plan was to just get grinding as much as I can before I get a summon because thankfully we have a warlock and I don't have to travel. And grind is exactly what I did. I have a lot of rested experience giving me a nice 100% bonus to every monster that I kill. I also spent quite some time being what they call a melee hunter, hitting the local wildlife with my stick. Please don't report me, I am a cow after all. This was to level up my defense skill, as apparently a big cause of death in hunters is the ones that stand back, playing super safe, and then when they get into melee range get crit and die to a random spider. So I was taking every single precaution, every single step to not die, but nothing could prepare me for what was to come. After a little while of waiting, we get a tank called Pubito, and he's a Tauren warrior who tells us that he's never done this before, so we need to lead him the way, which won't be a problem. I spent the whole morning killing bears and spiders for their tongues, which have a really crappy drop rate, so you want to make sure that you're settled in for the long haul if you're in Hillsbrad. I got summoned anyhow, and we was in the dungeon. Plenty of quests in here to complete with some very good loot too. Now I stole this silver vein off the mages, he didn't even ask to roll for it, he just started mining. So I timed it absolutely perfectly to get myself a cheeky little node too. I felt quite proud of that. Being here gives me incredible nostalgia for Season of Discovery. Oh, how I missed you being a raid, and all the sweet loot that I could get her at level 25. Rest in peace, sod. But the dungeon version is not so bad either. Thanks to having a warlock, we don't really have to worry about drowning here as we all get an underwater breathing buff, as I've quite proven I'm more than capable of probably dying to that too. In general, the dungeon started off really smoothly, damage was good across the board, Pubito had a weapon enchanted, he was a proper beefy boy, and in fact, while he would go AFK, we would just continue killing mobs without him. We really didn't struggle, as we made it to one of the final rooms of the dungeon. Now in here is 4 little braziers that you click to summon creatures to open the end door. And I usually, in retail, just spam click them all and I summon everything, and I was super close to doing it again. But I'm pretty sure that would be instant death, so against my will, I didn't do it. As the doors to Akumai's lair opened, we're approaching the end of this dungeon. The group are having a lovely chit chat about how they thought this was going to take a long time, but we're a good group, and that we are fast and safe. And an early morning dungeon completion to kick off the day is a brilliant way to settle any nerves and get yourself prepared for a day of adventures. We all ran out of the dungeon together, and naturally on the way out I managed to pull some mobs. Our mage did Hearthstone out, but we luckily have our tank and healer with us. As Fumix says,
typical hunters.
Then, as we are leaving, I somehow managed to aggro yet another mob. Honestly, I don't know if we skipped them or if they respawned, but I was truly living up to the hunter stereotype. So there was a reason I chose to do Blackfathom Deeps, and that is for the quests. One of them gives you this one-handed sword, the Outlaw Saber, plus 15 attack power. Beautiful. Honestly, it really suits my hunter. I then had to fly to Thunderbluff to turn in my quests. But what was about to happen would change me. I came back from a toilet break and I wasn't really paying too much attention to my main monitor as I was reading my chat on the second screen. And I hit my auto run key across a bridge like I've crossed many times before, and I'll let you watch and listen. Caught me. No! No! I can't believe that. Yeah, after all that, I fell to my death by auto-running at an angle. I killed my other hunter in an epic duel, and now I'm dead the very next day. My health potions, health stones, target dummies, even my pet could not save me from this. As I fused back with the earth, I realised how harsh this game can be if you just simply don't pay attention. And that was the end of my hunters. And the horde. I've had enough of it. I couldn't bring myself to level yet another hunter right now, or face Wailing Caverns for the 100th time, but I may have had a saviour. This is Antibold, a gnome mage. What if this is how I master World of Warcraft on the Alliance? As he was waking up in Elwynn Forest ready for his big adventure to begin, and I'm also constantly reminded of my error, it was time for a new hero to try and master this game, because I was genuinely struggling. But first, I gotta show you how Antibold even came to be, and how he got here in the first place. You see, Antibold wasn't even supposed to be a character. I made a gnome mage as I was forced into it because I hate gnomes and I hate mages. If you've seen any of my classic rogue's journey to master classic WoW, you would know why. Yeah, they're always little ninja looting shits. Anyhow, as I spawn in comes Antijax fan, a beautiful lady. Well, as beautiful as a gnome can get. And I see another gnome looking at her. Unacceptable, these creatures got to be purged. So I warn him like a true gentleman should, before she betrays me and wants to fight me to the death. Blasphemy, I loved her. So I strip down and get ready to knock her out, it's just gotta be done. We both start casting fireballs and we do good damage to each other, but she makes a grave mistake. By trying to run and get a sneaky hit from behind, I obliterate her and send her back to the loading screen, and I gave her a honourable goodbye. So I tried to actually start questing, with a kill to my name feeling pretty powerful, I can't lie. Then another pops up, this time it's Antijax hater. Apparently I did something to their sister. Ice Cream Evil says, "Hello there." And he seems like a lovely chap. I ask him for help and he says he's just been questing in the area. I beg him to kill this gnome for me, but he says she is a girl. I tell him to end her, but he says he doesn't fight girls. Then another naked gnome appears and starts dancing and it's all going down this morning. This is why I can't stand these filthy creatures, but they start savagely beating the crap out of each other. Watching a slow gnome male is kind of hilarious. The female mage then starts to cheat and she casts a fireball before quoting Ragnaros with a "by fire be purged" quote. What a little cheater. Well, I guess there is only one way to deal with it, actual hater. And that was a fist fight to the death in front of an audience once more. This time we're just beating each other up and it gets pretty close. I must say we're doing equal damage to each other, but unfortunately I lose this time as she casted a fireball, cheating at the end once again and taking out I Hate Gnome. As then a naked dwarf came out of nowhere and he started doing a very weird dance on my body. And this is how Antibold was made. He was a gnome ready to tackle the world, or at least he was a meme. He was never supposed to make it out of the starting area really, but here he was turning in the same quest over and over to see if anything happens or if he could break the game. Turns out you don't, noted. Once we give this dwarf a break and he goes for a beer, we then rob his ale before he even leaves the vicinity and run past him when we said that we'll watch it. Yeah, gnomes are just not nice people. We keep on adventuring through the cold landscape of Dunbarrow now, and I won't lie to you, I really didn't care if this mage lived or died. I've never really played a mage in World of Warcraft, except maybe once in Mists of Pandaria, but this little guy would start to grow on me. I enjoyed casting fireballs at the sickly leper gnomes and smashing them over my head with a stick. But one thing I wasn't having fun with already is going out of mana. As a hunter, I could just auto shoot if I ran out, but now no mana is a big problem. Mages take a lot more damage too, and as I was about to die to just a single leper gnome, before I ran away, a fellow gnome came and saved me, and he cheered at me too. Before I realised it's my best pal, who has saved me more than once so far. Always there when I needed him. I hope you make it to 60. After climbing a very steep mountain, our little gnome legs arrived at a cave, a camp. This dwarf needed our help to get his stuff from a cave down below, but that cave has got a monster inside of it that has eaten so many creatures. I see a gnome outside and I invite him to a group, but he says,
"I am not killing him, just waiting."
And I'm like, are you scared? You're a gnome mage. The two of us can surely do this. But he says,
"Try it if you are so brave."
So I call him a chicken. Then I challenge him a duel to the death. When I said that I had no problem with letting this gnome die, I really did mean it, as you can tell. I was stood contemplating whether I should go into the cave or not, if I could land a polymorph, that it may buy me enough time. But after thinking about it a little while, a human female ran straight past me saying banzai and threw a grenade at them and charged in to fight the Yeti. I saw the gnome went to loot the chest rather than help her, so I got to the chest first. My evil plan was in motion. I could maybe kill Ivan. He didn't help her either, he was just stood there, so I was hoping that she would use her vanish ability and he would turn around and kill the gnome mage, while he was waiting to loot the chest. But my conscience got the better of me, I couldn't let her die when she was helping us, so I decided to help her. Not that she needed it, she was completely fine. As I said run and leave that gnome to die. Was I the evil one? Or was it Ivan? Now excuse the quality because my friend Sporks was streaming on Discord him taking on Hogger and succeeding. So this made me think, I wonder what powers that my little gnome mage has. So I decided to keep on pushing this guy. One thing I noticed on my map was the fact it's red in Ironforge, meaning people were genuinely dying to falling in lava. I'd love to witness that one day, and the reason I'm in the capital is to purchase one thing and one thing only, and that is a wand. Fast forward a little bit and I decided to take on Vagash solo. Antibold had to prove to me that he was worthy of my trust, and by casting Frostbolt and running backwards, I slowly chipped away at the murderous Yeti's health. I ran as fast as I could, each time making sure I got closer and closer to the road, until I made it to a guard and I needed his help, but he didn't step in at first and I just peeked myself thinking, yep, I'm done for. But Antibold stood there firm and watched as Vargash was slaughtered by a mountaineer, who could have just went up the road and took care of this problem himself, but I guess he enjoyed the dwarfs being terrorised. With proof of my power now set in stone, I wanted to head to Elwynn Forest. In order to get there, we gotta take the Deep Run tram, allowing the Alliance to travel between capital cities much faster than the Horde. I sense a bit of favouritism here. Actually, I wonder which is faster, the flight path from Orgrimmar to Thunderbluff, or running to take the tram from Ironforge to Stormwind. While I was pondering this, I tamed some rats like a Pied Piper, and because gnomes are one with the rat species after all, we eventually go underwater and once again we see Nessie. I wonder if she's got a 100% spawn chance because I swear on every new character I see this beast down below. So when we arrive at the next stop on my little gnome's conquest of the elites, I finally got to Elwynn Forest and I come face to face with Hogger, the infamous Null. And using the same strategy of kiting with frostbolts worked really well, but this time there was no guards to save me. Hogger hits hard and he's got a stun if I remember, but by using the talent Frost Nova to root him in place to give myself max distance before the hard, complex rotation of a Frost Mage truly comes out, we can then do enough damage before going out of mana to kill Hogger with a wand. At this point, I was going to let Antibold rest in peace, either by drowning him in the lake or a duel to the death again, but I decided with his victorious fights to let him go to sleep in Goldshire Inn. Which brings us back to that present day. I've lost all 3 of my hunters, all dead, and all I had was this little bold mage. I needed a break from the Barons and the Horde side in general, so I decided, if I actually tried, could Antibold be the saviour? Could he be the reason that I finally master hardcore World of Warcraft? Now usually I don't do other races starting areas, I just kind of follow the path that's set out for you. But as I killed Hogger I decided why not? It's morning and Elwynn Forest is just perfect for them nice cold early leveling mornings. I even found myself a rare creature early on, Nog the Taskmaster, but we know by now that Antibold can practically take down anything without an issue. One also good thing about the mage class but also annoying is you can create your own drinks and food, which is perfect. The downside is I'm chugging this water like I'm on a night out, I'm constantly just drinking. The upside I guess is I don't have to pay for them, so free drinks you just can't complain. Now I've done these quests quite often in the forest so I know what to expect. People are usually terrified to death of murlocs, but I've never got a problem with them. As a frost mage, the ability to AoE freeze everything in place and the fact that I'm a little bit of a higher level means I can manage more than one mob, making it pretty speedy. And this mage starts to be blessed getting 4 healing potions from just one treasure chest. However, because I'm finding the early levels a little bit easier, it means I get overconfident and start taking stupid risks, and I forget mobs can daze you, and if it wasn't for my frosty armor ability, I probably would have been a dead gnome already. Caves are a common thing in hardcore and in WoW in general, as we already know I've died in one before, but Antibold was not scared of no caves. We were tasked with going into the Jasper Lode mine to find out what's been happening there, and although I don't have to venture further in, I do. I notice webs everywhere, which means spiders. Maybe their queen is further on in, and she's got treasure. No, for once she actually isn't. But I do feel bad for the kobolds that are all alive, wiggling on the rooftops dangling. So I kill the whole spiders to at least make sure that they don't get their insides sucked out of them. I had to collect a brass collar next from the Brackwell pumpkin patch. Turns out a princess boar called Princess and her entourage was getting pretty plump off the farmer's food. Now these can be tricky as if you attack her, you mess with her boyfriends. But once again, Frost Nova and Polymorph means easy pickings for Antibold. And slowly this mage class is growing on me too, more and more. I wanted to collect some loot from the humans inside a house here, so I invited a fellow warrior who was fighting his way in, but he's like, nah, screw that, and runs away. It's okay, my young warrior, you've got the power of a mage here. Speaking of mages, I was at Heroes Vigil, as the Defias members are just everywhere. I think we need to try and track down their leader one day. We went over to the Murloc village next at Stonecarn Lake, and these guys are a bit of a higher level than the last ones, and they can really mess you up if you're not careful. So I decided to just kind of stay away from them as much as I can. We was tasked with collecting logs for the lumberjack, as well as taking down prowlers and young bears, that I've wandered too close to the logging camp, and I saw another sad sight while doing so. It was a soul fragment. These things means that animals have claimed a young adventurer's life not too long ago. One thing that always makes you super happy though in Classic is when your quest log is this full. It makes you feel so accomplished, even if it is just for a short period of time. Just yellow question marks everywhere on the map. But this Murloc village showed me that every time I think I'm safe, I'm not. I pulled a Murloc while I'm at half health and practically out of mana, but when I kill it I aggro its friend, and I just take a lot of melee damage. I'm out of mana but luckily have health potions, so I barely scrape by. I can't be cocky, I just can't. I don't want to start over at the graveyard. If you got that phrase, let me know. My thoughts got the better of me as I came across a well in the logging camp. Could I jump in? What would happen if I fell down? Would a gnome die in there? Can I get stuck? I think gnomes should be allowed to enter wells and appear at other wells. Sort of like Mario but in World of Warcraft, it'd be a good teleportation system. I should apply to work at Blizzard with some of the fantastic ideas I come up with. With some of my quests now turning bloody grey because, as I say, I like to complete every zone as much as I can. I don't like to leave any stones unturned. I then make the run to the Redridge Mountains for a simple reason to get a flight path, which will definitely come in handy later on. And as I check the map, I've never seen something more red, oh my god. Just in comparison, I looked at Elwynn Forest, and wow, Redridge is a slaughter zone. I'm looking forward to questing here, said probably nobody ever. I only had one quest left, which was to get Gnoll armbands because I'm silly, and when I killed Hogger and I thought my mage's journey was over, I neglected to do this one too. Confidence was so high I would pull a whole camp of them without any issues. I was loving the power. Antijax was becoming a seasoned frost mage. Yeah, I decided to go frost for now, not fire. It's using too much mana, and even though the damage is better, maybe I'll change my mind one day though. Once I turn in the quests, I'm done with the forest, and it's time to head off on further adventures. So I hearthstone to Dunbarrow as I completely forgot to change my hearthstone, but at least I can actually head to another zone a little bit easier. A quick relog, and I saw Antijax move, and it made me really sad. I don't want to feel that cold embrace of death again, so we better master this character. After taking a griffin from the snowy zone of Dunbarrow and entering another beautiful and cosy land of Loch Modan and the village of Fesselmar, it was time for us to do a few tasks for the dwarves here. Our first task was once again slaughtering the wildlife. Usually I'm pretty unlucky with drops, but I actually got blessed so far. Antijax's luck has rivaled that of my rogue's luck, who I used to refer to as Rogue Jesus. But when we got to our first dungeon, that's when his luck is going to truly be tested. And make no mistake, the wildlife here isn't so easy to kill. I saw a gnome mage running from a bear, and I thought for a second about letting him die, but no, I'm a fellow gnome now, I must protect my own kind. And I saved him with a fire blast to the bear's skull, telling him, I have your back, fellow gnome, and he thanks me for it, as he was probably definitely dead if I didn't. I traded some healing potions and I explained that they could potentially save your life one day, before I disappear like a whisper in the wind, the saviour of gnomes, Antijax. But death could arrive at any moment. I went into a cave and noticed straight away that there's some high level big boy trogs in here. I gotta be careful. Now I'm taking down the trogs one by one, utilising my whole entire toolkit, polymorph on one while I take on the casters that hit lightning bolts, and these guys are deadly. I had to use plenty of health potions in this place, but we can never progress if we're petrified of caves. Caves should be petrified of us. My friends even warned me with good luck, but I managed to actually do okay. I go to loot a corpse and I notice that I get into combat, so I get ready for the trog, but he's not attacking me. Ah well, maybe it's just a bug. So I go to exit the cave and I see a seer and some fellow adventurers before, oh my lord.
Run.
Run. I get whacked, instantly nearly dying, and I hit a frost nova that luckily didn't resist or dead. Yeah, that was the end of me. I run out the cave as fast as my little legs will take me as a priest heals me, but now they've got aggro of an army of trogs. We hit a polymorph and we all start to make a break from it as they come charging at us, they just don't give up chasing us. The adventurers stand and fight, so I go to help them, but panic is setting in as we look over a cliff. We make the jump off and we keep on running as they come running down the mountain towards us, but then they all disappear, apart from one. That was insanely close, holy crap. At least now if I can't see what I'm in combat with in a cave, I just run. She would think after basically nearly dying here that I'd leave the area and not test my luck, right? Well no, my mother gnome didn't raise no quitter. There's a reason these seers are the #1 deadliest mob in Loch Modan, and that's because they fire lightning bolts that really hurt. Oh, and they also spawn in like ninjas and you can't even see them. I was drinking potions like candy, staying in this area, but I was slowly completing the quest. All I had to do was play smart, but my polymorph breaks as I needed to kill a last creature. With my health potion on cooldown, half health, half mana, I decided, yeah, I am done with this place, get me out of here, and I ain't coming back for a while, and I ran away. But I did complete my quest. During this time while killing black bears, I saw an ugly creature, one of the most vile in the whole of Azeroth, a dwarf female. She was kiting a bear called Old Sooty, a 20 elite. Now there is no point in me trying to help, because if I attack it and it aggroes on me, I'm dead. So I watch and it turns out she was kiting it to the town. Smart woman. A high level warlock also steps in to help, but she did use a bubble and lost aggro, so I'm kinda lucky that I didn't decide to cast a fireball at his ass. Something about me in caves was just a problem. I would go in slowly and steadily every time, but then I'd be charged by just an army of kobolds. Why did everything want to kill poor little old me? And I noticed there was just a lot of Alliance players playing, which was nice to see. I came across them everywhere, hardcore was truly popping off. Quest was going down really good, and before I knew it, I practically finished off most of Loch Modan, at least a lower level version of it. I wasn't quite ready for the big bad quest here just yet. Now that I was quite high level, I decided to head off to the zone of Westfall, another great Alliance zone, and where I logged off wasn't exactly the best place, considering as soon as I come in I aggro loads of Defias members. I probably should make sure that I'm safe before I log off again, so that's a lesson learned going forward. We had to retrieve someone's pocket watch from their house, but it seemed to be some sort of maniac. They have a bear corpse on the floor and loads of blood on the side. Not sure if I want to be helping these people out. And if you're wondering why my game looks like I'm playing back in 2007 or something, it's because I turn everything down on my graphics on Collect Quest, so you can see things on the floor you need to interact with much easier. And as I approach Saldine's farm for the inevitable Harvest Watcher quest, I can't believe these guys are the 8th deadliest creature in the whole of Azeroth. It had me shaking a little bit. But thankfully they can be slowed, so that means I'm free to unleash my inner Elsa on them, and drain my magical blue bar every time I do so. Oh, the joys of being a mage. Also, a quick toggle on my graphics and I can see grass again. I say hello to the horse old Blanky too, because I've been playing Mr. Pandaria recently and this horse is dead, spoiler alert. From there it was a mass slaughtering of wildlife again. I know, I'm probably to blame for 99% of Azeroth species going extinct right now, but 2 silver and a pie is 2 silver and a pie. I actually got very lucky on this collect quest once again, as usually it can be a pain in the backside. And it's actually beneficial to just buy the items off the auction house if they're cheap enough. But 8 livers later, we're done, and we're making great progress towards Antibald's first dungeon. While finishing off the quest in Saldine's farm, I do a secret quest, a mysterious one that challenges you and no you just do this /chicken at the chicken over and over, until the chicken looks at you and turns friendly. You then feed it some chicken feed you buy from the farmer, and out comes an egg. Now this chicken really pissed me off, as it decided to stand on its egg for ages, refusing to let me click on it. So when I eventually do, I get myself a chicken companion, and then I toast its mother into fried chicken and laugh at it. I am now the Lord of Chickens. For some reason, people don't really team up for this Harvest Watcher kill quest, considering that they kill people for fun apparently. I invite a dwarf called Midget Vibe and he actually joins, so that should make him killing these watchers a lot smoother. Until we literally kill 1 or 2 mobs and he just leaves the group and leaves me on my own. Sheesh, destined to be alone. But being alone has its benefits. You see, Antibald is a greedy little gremlin, and he's always finding chests lying about and takes them all for himself. No sharing for this guy, but be wary of travelling in Westfall, as a quick lapse in concentration and a dust devil will be on your ass. A creature of a higher level put here just to kill people. Thank God it casts an ability as it resists my roots and probably would just kill me if it just attacks me normally, but my frozen wizardry powers are just too much and we make a great escape with our little chicken. Now do you want to know the number 1 deadliest creature in Westfall? It's these guys, Defias Trappers and Smugglers. I guess it's because they've got a throw net ability, which could kill you, but they're also the 5th most deadly creature in the world. Why is Westfall full of these mass murderers? Anyhow, Antibald was here to purge the land. While doing so, a warrior appeared, who would try and tag every single monster I was going for. So they wanted competition, not friendliness, and we started to build tension up. They got so eager to take every mob that I was attacking that when I do finally get 1 tag, and they charged it, I decided, alright, have fun fighting them both. I won't help you, it's what you wanted after all. But they got very lucky that the mob decides to aggro onto me. Now I don't think they would die because they've got plenty of world buffs, but what do you expect? You are attacking every single creature, so you can fight every single creature. In fact, this rivalry got a lot worse as they would try to drag mobs onto me to kill me. So I just watched them as they struggled, as they would rather die than contribute damage to my tag. Even though we were fighting for them, they got very close to dying and they called me a
griefing idiot.
So I said, no, that's you. Warrior Barbie, we are now enemies for life. As my level was getting higher and the time for a dungeon was slowly getting nearer, I had to do the annoying quest chain. That is, go from Westfall all the way to Lancashire to speak to someone. who then tells you, alright, go back to Westfall. It's only a 2-minute flight both ways, so not too bad. When you get back to Westfall, they tell you, oh, that's lovely for that information, why don't you go to Stormwind and tell them? And I just gotta show you this view because it was beautiful. And I'm sort of happy right now I'm back on Alliance. I didn't think First Aid would be efficient on a mage, but after seeing how strong Frost Nova is as an ability, I decided to use, 171 linen cloth on leveling it up. Well, I'll be right back, I'm gonna be here for a while. So after going from Westfall to Lakeshire, Lakeshire to Westfall, Westfall to Stormwind, Stormwind to Westfall, it was time now to hunt down the Defias messenger, a creature that everybody in the zone wants most of the time and walks a long path. Me, Neymaruid, and Squat Cobbler, that name is kind of funny for some reason, I like it, spent a bit of time running the whole path of Westfall looking for this guy. Eventually we found him, and what do we citizens of Azeroth do best? Savagely beat him and take his loot. But he's a bad guy, so I guess it's okay to do. Or are we the bad guys? The next part of this chain is to do an escort, but if somebody started it, you shit out of luck and you gotta wait. When he does decide to appear, you gotta escort the traitor all the way across Westfall. And thank God this guy actually uses his legs and doesn't decide to walk. Because a lot of people in WoW don't really care for the dangers and they just walk so slow without a care in the world. When you approach Moonbrook, that's the quest done, and you're nearly ready for deadmines. With just a few more things to do and conquer before we can dive into the mines, I team up with Timmy C to take on some more quests. One of them being more Defias slaying. You can kinda get the theme that the big bad guy is in the dungeon and these Defias are causing chaos. But my god, just looking at the stats, every single one of these are just insanely dangerous. They must kill so many players on hardcore. May their souls rest in peace. Although the easy strategy to deal with these is to just psh around the corner, just like Athene used to say years ago. I even saw a Tauren hunter run into the dungeon, and it made me sad thinking of Antijax Moo and what could have been. But me and Timmy survived the Defias scum and we part ways, as I decide to take on a quest that I always just forfeit, and that is going to slaughter some gnolls. I got so confident on my mage that I was ready to pull the whole pack of these gnolls, and funny enough I was getting their paws quite often. Maybe this strategy would get me killed one day, but Frost Nova is the best spell in this game. I slowly dragged them away from their friends and then killed one of them, then ran away. Then I ran back, picking them off one by one like a little gnome hitman, but sometimes the cockiness can be a burden. I tried to Frost Nova all of them while my HP was pretty low and pick them off, but I'm nearly out of mana and health, and the gnolls are actually faster runners than me, and they've got a daze, but I got just far enough away that they reset. Woo, that was close. On our final task, which sees us completing every single quest practically in Westfall, I met another young wizard called Sophorus, and we finished off the Defias gangs in the area. These were the higher ranks and more of a nuisance than the others that we faced so far. We had to deal with quite a few of them too, 25 kills in total, and I also decided to put some frost talents into hit percentage, as I think that could potentially save my life one day. Sophorus was a better mage than me, with much better gear and a higher level. Not many words were exchanged between us, but I felt the bond through our magic. Thank you for teaching me the ways, my fellow gnome. Now with returning at Sentinel Hill to claim a new wand, I thought that I was finally ready for the dungeon, but apparently not. People won't take you, they want you to be level 18 or onwards so you don't pull the whole bolt and murder everyone. So all I could do was level up further, and the next stop was in a far, far away land of Darkshore. For a small fee of 20 silver, I paid a level 60 mage to open up a portal to save us on death and travel time. We now swap the vibrant, luscious forests and zone for a rainy, dark vibe in Darkshore. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't like this zone. It's depressing and not my style, but look at this map. So many quests. I gotta have them all. Also, a lot more gnomes around here than I would have initially thought. Seems we're truly taking over, as Nastanza constantly boots my nose. So when I see him, I laugh at his silly little rabbit. It's nothing compared to my chicken. We have a battle of emotes as I decide to say, I'm gonna eat your rabbit and skin it. Then he does the unimaginable. He eats my dumb chicken, how dare he? Hatred for gnomes are back. The questing in Darkshore is not so bad actually. Granted, some of the starting quests, the mobs were great to me. Don't worry, it doesn't stay like that. I'm just a tad over level due to me finishing off everything. And while it was early morning, you can kind of see my favourite time to level. And it has its benefits, as walking is a ghost or the banshee of an AA dawn runner. Now I imagine trying to find this lady can be a right pain with the spawn timers, but it's an easy kill, I'll definitely take it. I had a rabid thistlebet follow me around too. I needed to save one and experiment on it. And although he could just make a quick snack out of me, a few frostbolts to his face made him submit. But for some reason my new friend left me too. I don't know what I did wrong, but he just stopped. His legs must have gave way with all the running that I do. I'll never forget you, rabid thistlebear. A task from the Night Elves of Darkshore was to slay a murloc who had gotten out of control. His name was Murkdeep, a name that just makes you think, oh shit, that guy's hardcore. Well, I'm looking around and there's no murloc here, just a village of warriors and hunters. So I read my quest a little bit, and apparently he's a protector of this village. So what I do is what I do best. I take out every single member of the village, picking them off as usual. Honestly, they should give my gnome like a barcode on the back of his head because he is a well-trained assassin. Oh yeah, I also randomly turned grey because of some buff I picked up when I started this character. Not sure what it means or why it happens or if it's random, so let me know if you do. Nothing happened until all of a sudden 3 murlocs decided to appear out of nowhere and try and take me down. But we know the strategy by now. Root, sheep, kill. Having wool bandages between kills means I'm self-maintaining now as well, as the murlocs just keep running out of the sea. So does their leader finally, Deep, but he's not alone. And it's a pretty decent level. My damage isn't doing too much to him, but we are bobbing and weaving and dodging most of his attacks. We fire fireballs and frosty frost bolts and take down their leader, and we run away, leaving a wake of devastation behind us. Then now he's just farming crabs here for a little while, collecting some chunks to make some good dinner. While doing this, Deep 2.0 spawns out of bloody nowhere and starts coming at me. Don't tell me that he's just sat waiting in the water the whole time and I didn't have to take out all the other murlocs. I thought I finally got into a group as well for deadmines from a guildie, but turns out no mages are all greedy little goblins and they didn't want to share loot with others, so I got kicked. How lovely. My heart was broken. All I could do was to keep leveling solo, hoping to find a group, and eventually that's exactly what I did. I made my long journey back to Westfall and Moonbrook, and by long I mean I used my Hearthstone and flew. And a group of us stood outside the dungeon waiting for our last person to join us. It was another mage. Then the first stop of any major alliance journey, which was deadmines. We headed down into the Defias hideout where elites await us and hopefully loot. Now I've collected every single quest for this place, but some are not actually in the dungeon, they're based outside of it. And my lovely little group is willing to tackle them first. Now I swear my gnome luck was about to get insane, or maybe I was just gear starved as every single item was just a huge upgrade for me. I even saw a rare, a brainwashed noble, something in all my years of playing I have never seen before. He even made us into a chicken. I guess he knows I am the Lord of Chickens after all. Then we've just got to slay all the undead that have been left here to die in the mines. After that we ventured on inside our first dungeon, and the first task was the mighty Raxor, an ogre, a single-headed ogre. I wish ogres was a playable race, but gnomes all have to do. Our group with a level 25 mage took him down with ease, and thankfully she can make better water than I can to replenish our group's mana. Further on in we came to the goblin woodworks. The Defias leader is teamed up with them for reasons I'm not fully aware of. Damage wise I'm really bloody struggling to keep up, but I just can't. Maybe I'm doing my rotation horribly wrong. After all, it is super complex. Now I've always thought gold flecked gloves was an awful piece of loot, with 4 strength and 4 intellect, but my god 4 intellect is a huge bonus and right now I'm just getting so many upgrades. One of the ways I can top DPS meters is just spamming Arcane Explosion. This ability does a crap ton of damage. And yet another green drop for me. Spellbinder's Vest, 5 intellect. Oh my god, what an item. I win it and my gnome mage is becoming godly. But unfortunately, Sneed doesn't drop his ring here that would have truly been great. With another mage and a healer, if loot does drop, this is going to be rough to get. We ventured deep into the mines until we arrived at the ship. This is the last stop of the dungeon, and so far we've not even struggled one bit. No deaths, no worries, loot and smooth sailing. But this boat could end it all. Well, we killed Smite no problems, and he dropped his mighty hammer for our feral druid, but something truly bad happened, something I couldn't have forsaken. Yeah, all my footage of the boat got corrupted. The one dropped and I lost it, the staff dropped and I lost it. Even cruel frickin' Barb dropped, but I don't need it. Now I could have ended the video here with a goodbye, see you next time, but no, you guys should know me, and if you don't know me, I'll happily risk my life to go all the way back and get you 30 seconds more of footage. Hey, maybe I get some loot. So it's morning again and I made a group for deadmines, filled up really fast. The downside was I had to take another caster, so more chance on losing out on loot. But I just wanted to finish this place. I'm level 20 now, so I've gotten access to a few more abilities and a talent point, which I put into Cold Snap. This gives me a refresh on all of my frost abilities. So now we have 2 times Frost Novas, glorious. We all met up at the usual meeting spot, and we ran straight into the dungeon with no delay. We went slow and steady, and we killed Sneed again, and Taskmaster's axe dropped. I don't see it that often, so I thought I'd share it as my mage seems to get all the good stuff. Maybe it's Mage Jesus now. We then took down the Tauren that was Smite, and he didn't drop his hammer this time, and we made our way onto the ship. On the bottom of the deck is a murloc called Cookie the chef. I would not trust any food that this guy made, but hey, maybe he is a good cook. The one drops again, and last time I lost it. I roll need as so does everybody else, but I win it, giving us an extremely powerful DPS tool. So I'm glad I had to come back to deadmines. Oh yeah, I also got the ring, so I am pretty powerful. I would have said 2 agility is 2 agility, but we need the 6 intellect on it. Oh my god, this ring is strong. After carefully making our way to the top of the boat, Captain Greenskin awaited us. The tank told me to sheep pull on the boss, so I presume that means I have to sheep to pull. So that's what I do. And the tank doesn't attack them, so they all come for me. And I blink to Narnia because I'm not about to get one hit pulling for no tank. And now we summon blizzards and fireballs from the sky to AoE grind down all the mobs. Feels great. Once we kill him, he doesn't drop his staff, so we're not that lucky. And this leaves us with the last boss, Edwin Van Cleef, the reason for all the Defias members in Elwynn and in Westfall. The countless lives that have been lost, we now must take his. He summons his 2 blackguards to help him fight, and we target these down first as the damage can start to really ramp up. Then we nuke him. Me and the warlock have one job, and that's to sheep and fear the 2 adds that spawn at about 50%. I sheep one, but the warlock just attacks it and breaks it. Typical gnome. I'm out of mana, but my powerful Cookies wand helps me take down Van Cleef as half of the dungeon levels up at the same time, and once again drops Cruel Barb. I tried this dungeon over 13 times in Classic on my rogue and I never saw it, and I've seen it on my mage twice. Damn you, Van Cleef. And just like that, Deadmines was complete. A simple journey that gave us a wand and a ring, so coming back to finish it off was well worth it. I felt bittersweet. I'd lost 3 hunters, all on the horde side, and this gnome started off as a meme, but was growing on me. And just like Neo out of the Matrix, what if Anti-Bold was the one? Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new for more WoW content, and I'll see you in the next WoW video.